More significant severe weather is expected this afternoon going into the overnight hours, and we have a slight risk of severe weather today. That does include our viewing area in northern Kentucky and southern Indiana. And the threat in our region is primarily going to be that damaging wind threat. We're looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds in our area tonight. Really, anywhere that you see yourself in that yellow for tonight, you can be expecting some damaging winds with any severe storms that pass. But limited to, and not only limited to, because sometimes you can get tornadoes out of this, but we do have a 2% tornado risk over West Virginia. Virginia includes a little bit of Maryland, and it runs back up through that tiny little portion of Ohio. We do got some of Pennsylvania under a 2% tornado risk. And this means you can expect 1 or 2 spin-up tornadoes. We're not talking these long track tornadoes that can be F3 plus. We're talking these tornadoes that can spin up very quickly, last for a few minutes, but cause a lot of damage. It can rip off the roof of your house. So make sure if you are in here that you have a way to receive reliable weather warnings. But don't worry, this does not go anywhere, as tomorrow we have another slight risk of severe weather. In fact, we have 2 slight risk of severe weather. We have one for North South Carolina. It does include a little bit of Georgia, goes back through Tennessee, and it has a little bit of that bottom side of Virginia in there as well. We also do got another slight risk, and this is going to be over South Dakota down through Nebraska, and this includes Iowa and that little southwestern area there in Minnesota where we could be seeing some severe weather. And as of right now, the tornado risk sits at a 2% for Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and this does include South Dakota as well. And this is where we're looking at the possibility of a few spin-up tornadoes that could rip off the roof of your house and cause some significant damage. Tomorrow, we're also looking at a significant wind and a significant hail threat over South Dakota, and this does include that Minnesota area, and it includes that Nebraska and Iowa area as well. And then if you live there in North Carolina, South Carolina, and this does include once again Tennessee, Virginia, and it does include a little bit of Georgia, we're looking at primarily again a damaging wind threat, but we cannot rule out maybe one spin-up tornado. So I think it's clear we got a lot to go over in this video, so let's get right into the forecast. And we're going to jump right into it with the models. I think that's the only way, because the models right now are actually showing a little bit more different than what is currently ongoing. So around 7 p.m. the time I'm recording this, you see it has a little bit of some spotty showers or very light storms. What's actually going on right now is much different. We have a lot of severe storms. We actually have a tornado warning in Kentucky here, just to the north of Paintsville, just to the southwest of Huntington. And you can see we have 2 mesoscale discussions. It's that big red box that you see. And then, of course, we also have these severe storms that are producing some extreme winds. We're talking 60 mile an hour to 70 miles per hour. And in the Louisville area, we have some pretty big storms. So the models, the HRRR at least, hasn't done too much of a good job predicting this weather event. And here is the supercell composite perimeter, the values. This is showing us, do we think supercells are going to pop up in the area? You can see that mainly over the Louisville area, that we don't got any really signs of supercells throughout the night. That's going to be expected. There's a little chance of seeing maybe one, but that's the lower on the scale, the lowest that the scale pretty much goes. So in the 3s. So we're expecting for that. But it does look like as we go into the overnight hours, we get a little bit stronger of some shear, especially around 12 a.m. here. You can see we get a little bit stronger shear over there, and it's not the strongest, but it's a little bit higher up on the index value than right now. And here's another shear model that shows us some of the shear. So I wouldn't rule out a tornado warning or 2 going into the overnight hours tonight, but I just don't think that, again, if these tornadoes even do happen, that they're going to sustain for long. They're going to be very short-lived, spin-up tornadoes, and they could cause some damage, but I don't think we're talking about a big tornado threat going into tonight. But again, with our temps in the 90s, and as this cold front pushes through, it's forecasted to get down to about the 70s in our area. You can see 70s around morning, 80, 79, 79, but then the heat comes back tomorrow. But as you know, it's not going to go into the 80s tomorrow. The peak of daylight heating only sits us around the 80s, not the 90s I meant. But do still keep in mind that we have dew points in the 70s here. So we've had a lot of that good fuel. We just haven't had an engine that triggers the storms to kind of pop up until today. So we are going to have a severe storm chance going into the overnight hours. You can see our humidity values throughout the night sitting in the 50s to 70s, and then they get really high. Up here, we said 91 in Louisville at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So the humidity is going to rise once again tomorrow, but tomorrow we don't have much of a chance of seeing severe weather as much as we do tonight, of course. Tonight is going to be the really big thing, and that's really what's happening right now. It's already happening in the area tonight where we could see some of that severe weather. It is also worth noting that we do have a marginal risk tonight for excessive rainfall, but just to our east, you can see we have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall or flash flooding for West Virginia here. This is over central West Virginia. It goes back through a little tiny crevice there in Maryland, and it does include some of that Pennsylvania area as well. And a moderate risk is a level 3 out of 4 for flash flooding. That's when we know we get have some destructive flash flooding. For example, what we saw back here in Indiana the other day, the first day of school for, I believe it was JCPS. And, I mean, man, they were driving through these massive puddles. It almost looked like rivers that were on the streets. So that's insane that we saw that. But we're talking about a similar scenario taking place over West Virginia. And as we go throughout tonight and tomorrow, you can see they remain in a slight risk. However, the difference between the Indiana and this is going to be that this is much shorter. The Indiana, we had multiple days where we saw excessive rainfall, and it just kept building up each day. The problem is just this is all going to fall at once pretty much throughout tonight, and that's going to be the main problem is with all of it falling so quickly, then we could see that flooding risk shoot up a lot. Our significant tornado parameter values are not that high tonight. As you can see over West Virginia, there's a brief spot around 8 p.m. where we could see a tornado or two, but I just don't think it's going to be that high. Again, this is that area that's in that 2% tornado risk tonight. Again, I'm not fully ruling out that we'll get a tornado warning in our viewing area tonight, which will trigger us to go live. But I'm just going to tell you it's on the lower side, even given that we have a ton of severe storms currently in the area. And you can see we have that front along the line there. But you can see we have a lot of storms in the area. I don't think we're going to see a severe warning. And if we do, it's going to be a low end. And it's probably most likely just going to be a radar indicated warning. However, I can fully not rule it out. So there's the potential tonight that we'll go live to cover a warning if this does go out. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you like here on the channel. And who knows, maybe we'll end up going live tonight. But make sure you have a way to receive alerts if you live anywhere in the area as well. That's the best thing I can tell you. Make sure you have a way to receive alerts and make sure you have an action plan just in case that warning is actually issued for your area, because you never know when the time is going to be. And we're about to dive a whole lot deeper into these storm systems. But before I do, I want to talk about the best radar that I have ever used. This is WXRundown. If you're looking for fast, reliable, and accurate weather data, then WXRundown is for you. With over 8 different unique map styles, tons of radar customizations, and much more that I don't have the time in this segment of the video to talk about. WXRundown is run by a team of individuals. It's a small company, but it's a very fast growing and quick achieving company. Also, my friend Cruz Haynes WX is also a partner with WXRundown. And not to mention that WXRundown has their own official YouTube channel. They have their own official app on iOS, and they have an Android app coming soon for any of you Android users. So what are you waiting for? Go check out WXRundown in the description, and thank you for powering this video. Now, let's get back into the forecast. And this segment is powered by WXRundown, so shout out to WXRundown. Go check them out, link in the description. And you can see what's currently going on around the area right now. So you can see all of our counties highlighted. But now we have a severe storm that's south of Louisville, and we have a lot of lightning in this storm. So let's take a look close here at Louisville. A lot of our cameras are down, so it's going to be hard to find a camera that's actually working. You see currently that on the highway, it looks like this is Dixie. Here, this is I-264. So you have some very, very intense rain. Looks like we got a lot of wind. It's just because this is an image that it's not going to be that easy to show the winds. However, this is entering right around the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport here. We have Kentucky Kingdom. We have the University of Louisville just to the north. All in that severe kind of storm. And the main severe threat is going to be to the south of that. You can see the orange indicates that severe thunderstorm warning. And we do actively have a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be for Floyd, Harrison, Bullitt, and Jefferson in Kentucky. Harrison and Floyd are in Indiana, but these are the areas that are going to be impacted. So this is, again, one of the cameras here. This is on Highway 841 here. you can see it gets very, very dark over here. This is definitely where all of that storm activity is expected. You can see it looks like we got some scud clouds. So do not mistake tonight. It looks like that we may have a scud cloud kind of scenario. Do not mistake scud clouds as tornadoes. Scud clouds can look like tornadoes, and sometimes they can even be touching the ground. This is not the same as a tornado, though. A tornado has rapid rotation, and you will see debris being flown around. So look, if you see a tornado tonight, or you see something that looks like a tornado, look for the rotation and look for any damage, and that's when you have to go take shelter. For anyone north of 64, you're going to be mainly a scattered kind of storm threat over the next few hours. Anywhere south of I-64, though, this storm, it's going to work its way there if you live in Bardstown, Springfield, and then down here towards the southeast. And if you see yourself anywhere out here, then make sure you have a plan just in case this storm does go tornado warned throughout the night tonight. But again, I'm not going to fully rule out that we get a tornado warning out of this storm complex. So again, like I said, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you have a way to receive alerts. And that's going to be all for the video. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. This was a quick video. I'm just getting back into the forecast, kind of gist of things. So we will have another video most likely out tomorrow afternoon. If not, then you can expect at least another reel. So, have a great rest of your day, guys, and I hope this helped you. Alright, goodbye.